roses somebody gave me, 'cause I'm dead and protest.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs. What's going on out there, KP Heater? How's it going today? Got sunshine on the radar. Has some rain here lately, man. Let me get back over here where I need to be. Uh, Anybody out there listening to it? And I've been kind of quiet here lately. Things has been kind of on the observation scale of certain things, and brings me back to a discussion that I've been wanting to have just off the top of my head, and it's about product, and how that's going to relate to people and their everyday doings. No matter what you're doing, you're subject to a certain product, which means products, I don't know, materials to keep you up off the ground and your house sits on top of it. Your foundation's made out of something, rocks, wood, whatever. Products that you depend on and rely on in an everyday world and outcome uh, means that you are a product in itself, which means that you produce 100% of what's around you. You unless you're in a relationship or something, and then it kind of evens the score up a little bit, some more than others. But depends on your product. What kind of product are you? What do you do? What says, hey, I got to have this kind of vehicle to drive? Hey, I got to have this to be able to do this, to be able to do this, to be able to get up, go to work. I got to have certain shoes. I got to have certain clothes. I got to have a certain hat, hard hat, whatever. Product. Whatever the product is, the proof is in the pudding, which means the person that's subject to all this product. I mean, what's your best description of what describes you as your dependency on certain products, per se? I do a certain job every day, so I got to have a certain tool or piece of equipment that's essential to my job performance. So what it all down in a nutshell is you're the product, which means if I took 5 pickup trucks loaded down with tools and ladders and all the equipment and just took them out here on a job site and parked them, that's not going to get the job done. The labor involved, the product, you're the product. You're the one that does the shoveling. You're the one that does the screwdrivers. You're the one that does the physical aspects of the tool. You have to make the tool work like a machine and its controls. You're the one behind the steering wheel in that, the product. And it goes into products of people and family and the younger generations of the product. What is the product? And some family members will say, well, I never really liked that product. My family kept a roof over their head and food on their table and lived their lives by being certain individuals with certain skills or attributes about themselves, you see. Even Jeffrey Dahmer's mother more than likely loved him, but look at the product of that, you know. She would have never seen it coming, and a lot of people didn't till after the fact. But product, you know, how much fuel does your vehicle absorb in its journey? You know, okay, the vehicle itself is a production of another something outside of your means, which means that if you didn't go out there and come up with the metal and the rubber and the machine and everything to build the vehicle that you drive, then you're subject to you're at its mercy. And we were having this conversation about uh, smart cars and technology, you know, and how it goes back to basically you're riding around in a police car, you know, you're just in a police car, you're in something that's going to snitch you out if you've been drinking, it's going to snitch you out if you're sleepy, or it could just decide on itself to say, hey, we're going to park right over here on the side of the road and we're not going anywhere. The product. Whenever the product starts to control the people, that's, I'll segue into that. Product has a tendency to control the people, and in that, you know, I say, well, you know, the product right now for a vehicle, that's your horse. That's what you're. See, if you want to go back and think like back in the day, that's your horse, your vehicle. That's your horse. Some people don't have horses. Some people, a lot of us have horses, and the horse feed that it relies on comes from the gas station right up there. Back in the day, you know, your horse gets hungry or wants to have a little nibble, then there was always some grass around or something for that horse to graze on between whenever people would travel. You know, you might have a horse and a wagon. It might take you 3 days to get to town to do your shopping. And your horse, along the way, it would graze and uh, it would graze off the land. But that's not the way it is now. See, you're the product, but you're in a vice only because the product that you require to maintain your everyday living, your survival, has to become reliant on a pump that says $4 a gallon, $5 a gallon, you know. So you become a hostage to that situation. And then in the survival world, people say, you know, that it's okay to come up with the knowledge to be able to say, okay, if I had to, I'm going to make some fuel. Just if I can make enough just to sustain my vehicles that I drive, then I'll be okay. But everybody ain't that way. Everybody is not going to go out here and come up with ways to make fuel. Every single household is, that's the reason. It's not going to happen. So you're subject to the corner gangster up there at $4 a gallon, the product. So whenever you talk about how things control the markets and how things control the flow of goods inside this country, you know, and the product going to the people that are buying the product. Why are they buying the product? Well, hold on. Let's see. How many people do their grocery shopping outside of Walmart, Family Dollar, Aldi's, the big box brand store? How many people can say that they don't shop at any of those stores at all? The ones that walk inside those stores are already subject to their product on their shelves because it's premium. It's premium. It's a discount store, but it's sold to you at a premium cost. One is people look at it like you don't own the store. You don't own that store. No matter how much money you spend inside that store or that gas station or that retail outlet or whoever it be inside this country, you still do not own that. Like the guy with the shaving electric shaver. He liked the company so much that he bought the company. Well, okay, if anybody likes Walmart so much, then maybe they should go buy Walmart. But until that day comes, they're just subject to the master's whip of the elite, the money elite and the folks that say, okay, we want to be able to control that market. We want to be able to control that market and control the flow of the product. The flow of the product. It's like if Walmart goes on sale and says, hey, we got Walmart goes on there and says, hey, we got, what's up, man, Shad? Come on up, man, if you want to. I think I got the link in the chat stream there. You can come on up, man. I'd appreciate it. But, and if you don't, there it is again. But what you got is you got a big conglomerate such as Walmart and big industries, big box grocery store conglomerates. And I'll segue into some other stuff, but whenever these stores say, hey, we're going to put chicken on sale this week for 29 cents a pound, and then they have record sales on chicken, they're just moving some chicken, 29 cents a pound. The cost of the chicken stays the same whenever it leaves the ranch. The chicken don't go up. It just has to be butchered and cleaned and separated out and put into packages, or you can just buy the whole chicken already cleaned. But the fact of the matter is that market controls that price. Whenever big box stores like Walmart and Family Dollar and Dollar General and all these other places push up the price on their merchandise on their shelves, it's because of what reason? What is the reasoning behind why their stuff just automatically goes up to an outrageous price on their shelf when they're supposed to be a discount store? It's only because communities have allowed that you have so many Dollar General stores inside of a town. I mean, I know towns that have less than 50,000 people in them, and they have 7 Family Dollar stores and Family Dollar General stores in them, Family Dollar stores. They've got 3 Walmarts, you see. And that little guy that's up there on the corner that's trying to stay in business, then he has to combat that conglomerate. You have to understand, as independent people in a grocery store or a hardware store or any kind of store, if they have to go up against a grocer giant, then they're just like you and me. They just got to agree to go in there and buy the product at whatever it costs for the average person coming into big box stores. They're still going to pay the same price. Plus, they have to maintain their business on top of it and have people working in their community. So it pushes out the community aspect of neighborhoods where everybody goes to Walmart to buy their food. Everybody goes to Walmart or Sam's to get their tires or their oil changed or something going on. They want to completely corner that market. And then by people allowing these big conglomerates into their neighborhoods and their towns, by you allowing these people to come in there, and they're saying, "Oh, we're bringing in all these jobs, and we're gonna uh, be a contribution to the community," and then they allow that, and all of a sudden, here's what you got: you can come inside this big box store in this town, or you can go in the same big box store over here in the next town over, because that's all there is. Take it or leave it, chump, and you're going to pay us what we want on our shelves. See, same thing happens, and I know there's this big misconception, and I try to kind of reassure people. And I've said this already when it comes to the gas and the fuel and everything else. One, the Strait of Hormuz. That's 25% of the world trade on the ocean water oil production. That means it's being transported by ships, 25% of it. And then somebody says, oh, we can just go in there and devastate Iran. And I'm going to say, okay, then what happens when you go in there and you start dropping stuff on Iran? So you got this little place right over there across that little narrow. It's called United Emirates. Okay. They have all facilities. They have all refineries. They have product refineries inside that side of that little part of that ocean right there, that inlet. It means while everybody's dropping bombs on Iran, Iran's already done backed up to the table, and it's a fact. It's a fact. Iran has capabilities of devastating the rest of the oil or everything else that leaves out of that region through that strait. They can drop drones, they can drop missiles, they've already done proven it. 70% of Iranian's ballistic missile stock, missile hardware, and weaponry is still intact, you see. And if they let loose with what they say they can on the opposite shore, that's going to be back to the west side of that. That means all of those refineries, all of those tank facilities, loading facilities, everything else is gone or on fire. And everybody says, oh, we're going to take that island away from them up there where they pump all that fuel. Okay, and they're going to take the rest of it away from everybody else for as long as it takes. See, that's that milestone that the fearless leaders, and they got to get past that. So, and then there's parts of sectors of the the strait down there, the Emirates, that are saying, hey, whether you want to believe it or not, it's a fact that they are against United States military bases or facilities inside their region. Why? It's because they are inviting all of this into their fucking country. They're blowing up their fucking oil refineries. They're fucking putting their fucking country at risk. And I kind of had this conversation lately with somebody about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month. It means that if you and your buddies over there want to shoot at each other with rockets and try to do all of that, leave me out of it. My house is not over in that neighborhood, but I've allowed you to park some of your weapons right here in my backyard. So, one of the reasons that it doesn't matter, I said it, nobody will get anything out of the deal. It's not going to be feasible for Iranian exports or exports coming out of the Middle East, out of the Strait of Hormuz. It's just not going to happen. And the two frigate class destroyers that just left the Strait of Hormuz. And see, what people don't understand about that is it's unfeasible for those two boats to be out there. Why? They got capabilities, sure they do. There's only two boats though. It's only two boats. And limited, they got limited ammunitions and stuff aboard these boats. And whenever that moment comes and Iran says, okay, enough's enough, we're just going to start sending in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drones and whatever missiles we can and start destroying Kuwait all the way down that strait, all the way down. Every one of those loading ports, all of those docks, all of that stuff down through there, logistics hubs and everything inside that whole region will be on fire. The United States' military says, okay, we're going to park all of our fucking brigade outside of this strait. We're going to draw a fucking line across there and we're going to shake everybody down coming in and out of there. Well, that's not working. Why? Because all of the millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in oil and everything else that's held up in 25% of the world's only ocean oil exchange is being held up inside that strait. You can go against the grain. You can say this, you can say that. Here's the deal. Whenever Donald Trump and his administration had a meeting with the world leading oil officials 1 week before all of this kicked off, they are the least bit concerned if any oil ever comes out of that strait within the next 2 or 3 years. They don't care. You have to understand that. Why? Because we are making premium on exports inside this country to where? Places like Europe, places like, oh, guess what? China, they get a little bit of something. Taiwan, everybody gets a little bit of American oil. If people don't know that, they get it at a premium. $110 a barrel is the highest one I've heard lately, up from like $63 a barrel 6 months ago. You have to understand that this is an act. This is an act of control that's it's on a losing scale. You have to understand that. It puts the King of England, it puts his whole country in jeopardy. Why? Because where you get your oil from there, Ireland, where you get your fucking petrol for your cars, where you get your natural gas for your natural gas powered green energy fucking power generation. See? Where do you get that from? It used to come from that pipe over there till somebody blew it up. But the fact of the matter is this is something that's being done. It doesn't matter. And people inside this country, when they walk up to that fucking pump and they pay $4 a fucking gallon for fucking gasoline, it is not for the interest of you as of your country. You have to understand this. It's for the interest of the big conglomerates that own every fucking aspect of your ass and your product, your vehicle, your phones, your communication, your buildings and codes, your every fucking thing. See? You're not, you're going to get $2,000 back on a tariff bonus. Okay, when? You know, it's not happened. This is for the big time conglomerates. It means the government of the United States has the greatest opportunity to grow in power. You have to understand that. Grow in power. The government, the federal government, the ones that want to take away all of your rights, it gives them great gains in it. You're a subject. You're not a product anymore. You're just a subject. which means whenever you buy the products, the ones that they offer you, not the ones you're going to come up with yourself, the ones that they have on the table to offer you, you're going to have to say, okay, I got to have this vehicle to get back and forth to work. I got to have these to get on my feet. You know, work boots cost $300-400 a pair to go to work. You know, people don't understand that. A fucking set of work boots costs $300 fucking dollars. Comes from the same cow, comes from the same shoe factory. What the fuck does the shoe factory say? Oh, cowhide costs more. No, it doesn't. Why? Because if you're smart and you're aware of 4 conglomerates that control the beef industry, you understand this. Control the beef industry inside this country. 99% of it are 4 conglomerates of beef industry. 3 of those industries are based in a foreign country. You understand that? Your Walmarts, your Family Dollars, your cheaper Audis, whatever you go to buy your food from, those people. The ones that are banned from what? They don't want to produce, they don't want to butcher local meat. They want to hand that meat over, same cow, to a foreign interest. They're going to take it to the same slaughterhouse and they're going to sell it to you on a styrofoam saran wrapped package at 10 times the cost at butcher. So I mean, it is what it is, and people they're not they're not real common on the big picture. They say one little thing about this picture, and it's like Mad Chad was saying, they're fucking zombies. They're digital zombies. They can't be aware of the fact the only fucking reason that fucking beef costs what it does on the shelves inside these outlets is because we pay that fucking price. Now, why we pay that price beats the shit out of me. You know, they gain, you lose. The old saying: the rich keep getting richer, and the poor will become illegal. You understand? That's the goal. That's for you and your fucking whoever or your people. If you're out here on the fucking streets, eventually you're a fucking criminal if you don't have a home or a place to go sleep and lay your head without it being on public property. You're a fucking criminal. You see, there ain't no grazing your horse along the way as you journey through your next town to buy your supply with your horse. That means no, you better not park your fucking vehicle on the side of the road and sleep all night till you get to where you're going the next day because what? You could be arrested for that now. The product. You are a product of your own creation. Whenever somebody says, hey, that's interesting and intriguing to talk about what it's going to take to get this industries and stuff's attention inside a country like this with 350 million people inside of it. What does it take? It takes, okay, who are these 4 industries that run this fucking country's beef and pork and poultry supply? See, who are they? Well, I'll tell you who they ain't. They're not your neighbors that used to have cows and took them to the local slaughterhouse and whatever they needed, they took, and the butcher sold the rest right there at the butcher shop. Right there. That's where it went. A half a side of beef, whatever it was. The butcher kept half that fucking side of beef for himself to sell for the butcher, and you carried the rest home. Well, see, now, according to the Amish community, you can get arrested for that too, see. The fact of the matter is you are the product. You're the consumer of the product and the product consuming it, which means that most of the time when you look at a person and the things that they drive and the house they live in and the clothes that they wear, you can tell them what, you can almost tell what big box store that uh, they bought their products from, you know, the label, the label. And you got to come up with your own label and all of this, and you got to try to make sense of it. And you got to say, okay, I know I heard on TV that uh, I'm gonna pay $4. I'll pay $50 a gallon for gasoline if I know it's gonna benefit my country. Well, you're just a fucking idiot. You are a fucking idiot. You're like one of those people that walks in a big ass restaurant, real fancy. You order a fucking plate of food that costs $250 fucking dollars, and they bring it out, and it's some little dabs of sauces and a little piece of lettuce and a little cherry tomato on there, and that's what you just paid $200 for because it was the atmosphere. You see, so it's a big discussion. The label. What is your label? What do you do? What do you build? What do you make? How do you contribute to you? If you didn't have to contribute anything to anybody else, what do you contribute to you in productivity? What do you do? Sharpen your knives, you know, oil your weapons, clean your boots, be prepared for what? Whenever people learn to say no, they just say no. I see these protesters. Yeah, Pilgrim. I wasn't paying no attention to the chat, but I am now. I see what you mean. The thing is, man, is you got it's un-American, man. It's really fucking so un-American, and you try to explain to these dumbasses, it's like, look, go back and read your fucking American documents. The ones that says you, yes, you, motherfucker, and your old lady and your kids, this is what makes you American. It's not, the Republicans don't make you American. The Democrats didn't make you American. Matter of fact, the people that sat inside that room and closed all the goddamn doors and windows because they didn't want to hear it, they went in there and then came out and said, here, this is what we came up with. Enjoy it while you can. Why? Because it wasn't founded by a Republican or a Democratic Party. It was founded by independents and the independence rights of people. I don't give a fuck about your red. I don't give a fuck about your blue. I don't want to hear about it. If you get it's like I said, the product of you is wrote all over you. And if you want to say, hey, I'm going to wear this hat, wear that motherfucker. Wear it. But don't be offended if somebody comes along and says, hey, I'm going to yank the carpet out from underneath all that glory, and I'm going to show you something outside of what your usual outlets are. Did you go look inside the Strait of Hormuz? Did you look at the live ship map? Did you look at the American naval forces inside the strait, not around the strait, inside the strait? Did you do this? Did you, by the way, did you check the stock market reports on oil export in the United States? Chances is likely you didn't. Why? Because why? Now the big oil conglomerates, they say, okay, I'm gonna we're gonna just say, hey, fuck it. We don't give a fuck if that fucking strait opens up or not. Why? Because we got massive sales to all of these people over in Europe, all these people over in under. Look, they're coming all the way around the south tip of Africa with their big ass container ships into the Gulf of America, off the shores of Brazil, off the shores of Venezuela, and off the shores of Mexico. See, those same ships. Now hold on. All this oil being put aboard all these ships is coming out of whose country? Our country? And all of a sudden, so we're going to say, okay, let's put all of these millions of barrels of oil on these big ass boats and send them over here to these people, but let's charge the American sheeple $4 or $5 at the pump, and let's say, boy, ain't that diplomatic? Boy, ain't that some? That's American, ain't it? No, it ain't. And some people, they don't want to get on that sticky thing, man. They don't want to get on that sticky thing. They just want to stay out there in their fucking group of fucking sheeple, and they don't want to look at it. They don't, fuck, I can't look at that. Why? Because if you did see it, you'd be like, holy shit, I can't unsee that. And then you're going to say, well, okay, now I understand where all these other rest of these fucking idiots are coming from. You know, the sheeple. As long as you keep going to that fucking gas pump, because they have made it, you understand, they have sealed it to where you will go to that gas pump. You will go to that fucking big box store. You will not stop at a local mom and pop owned store that's not struggling. And you got to ask yourself, well, what the fuck is going on? Is our community less important than the big box brand? The robbery at the gas pumps. We got the federal government of all nations. See, and that's that part in that declaration there about this big government issue. When we have the big government head lead office having conversations with all conglomerates. You see, that's not you. You're not an oil conglomerate. You're a little peon out there in the world. You got no say over that. They are just going to do it. You understand? They are just going to take an extra $2 out of your fucking pocket at production price. You see, the price of production does not go up. The cost at the pump, the consumer, goes up. They put millions and millions of barrels of oil on ships as we speak that goes to a foreign shore. And we're all paying the same price for that. We're giving away our natural resources. Because the last time I know that you could officially drill a hole in the ground and pump oil out of it, you had to have a permit from the government. Drill, baby, drill. If we're doing all this drilling and we're pumping all this money on board these big ass containers, and we're shipping it across that fucking ocean, and we're paying for that. You have to understand that. We are paying for that. We pay $4 a gallon at the pump. If you take an average barrel, 50 gallons. You see, we're sending millions of dollars of money aboard those ships across those oceans, and we're handing it over to an oil conglomerates inside this country on oil that we have enough to sustain ourselves for a long time. But we're getting screwed. And whenever the government comes in and says, hey, we got say so over this, we can control this. Oh, we can control this for the profits of who? And I got rod busters, I got roughnecks, I got 100, listen to this, I got 100, almost 120 oil refineries and production facilities within 5 miles of me. These guys that are out here, oh, what do they get? A little bit of overtime. They don't get a pay raise. They get overtime on their pay. It means they're getting screwed too. And it's only because they've already done put their house on the line, they put their family on the line, they've bought cars, trucks, they've invested their money into their job, and whenever when it all comes to a head and they shut down construction and stuff on these facilities, that means go home and suck a hind tit. I know the industry. My whole fucking family's in the industry. You only, you can only work. You don't work all year round unless you're with a really good outfit. The rest of the time, you might be off 6 months out of the year, and that's a fact. The whole thing is all of these systemic problems that we got going inside the society is the product itself. It's the outcome of what your kids are projected to be by some government scholar of bullshit. How many's gonna graduate? How many's not gonna graduate? How many they 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 already put a number on your child's head, even if it ain't even born yet. Yeah, that's kind of scary. But it's a fucking it's a fucking mind fuck, you know, out here in society. And think about it. How fucked would your mind be in a society if something says, okay, now we don't even have any way of telling each other what the fuck is going on. We all just gotta go fucking live our daily routine, and we don't even have a fucking phone to even call or talk, or we don't have a screen, we don't have anything. We got none of that. And then how the fuck would you even know? You know, you're trusting. You have to understand you're trusting your government with communications. You have to say, okay, now what kind of questions is that raise in the back of your fucking head? It should raise some questions up when you say, okay, what if they say, okay, we're going to shut down all the fucking communications from you. You're not going to, whenever you go to use your fucking phone, you can't use it. How the hell would you ever know the freedom of the press even fucking existed without that? Don't print the newspaper. Don't close all the fucking ads down on Craigslist. Close all the fucking digital fucking newspapers down. Close them all down. Shut it off. You see, do you trust your government for that? And then everybody says, okay. I say, all right, 3,000 acres. 3,000 acres of AI data centers going in within miles of where I live. Okay, 3,000 acres. That's two New York City parks. That's two of them put together. The size of cities. The data, that's your data, that's your most valuable aspect now as an American, your data. How often you buy beef. How often do you go to the store and buy this box brand of something, or how often do you buy a gallon of milk, or how so whenever that happens, then it belongs to the market, the ones that buy the data and own the data, which means it says, oh, okay, if they're willing to pay $6 a gallon for milk, well, let's just get another dollar, that won't hurt. Our data says that we've got 50 million people inside this country that buy at least 1 gallon of milk every other day because they have kids. So we can get what? We can just strike that fucking price on there, and you're going to pay it only because why? Where are you going to get some milk from, bub? Well, you would. You used to be able to go down here somewhere in your local community and say, hey, this guy has got a dairy. I can have my milk jug filled there. That's long in the past, only because you and everybody else inside this country's handed all of that over to the beef industry and conglomerate. You see, the beef cattle industry. That includes milk, if you didn't know that, and cheese. You see, milk and cheese and beef and leather. They control that. 90,000 on average. 90,000 heads of cow are slaughtered inside the United States daily. Daily. every day. 90,000 of them. And they control it. 4 conglomerates. Whenever the oil industry says, hey, we're going to cut back, we're going to raise the price on fertilizer inside the United States. Well, how can you do that? Oh, we can do it because we can say that this affects us, what's coming out of this strait over here, when it really doesn't, if you get what I mean. It's kabuki theater. That's exactly what it amounts to. It's kabuki theater, and people should accept that. It means that whenever somebody says, we control all the oil and the industry, the production of fertilizer inside the United States comes from primarily petroleum industry. There was ample enough petroleum flowing into these channels of production inside this country previous to this Hormuz Strait incident. Why? Because the fearless leader says we don't need anything from them. We don't need their oil. We don't need nothing from these people. Really? Well, how come we're paying $4 a fucking pump, Mr. President? May I ask you that question? There is no reasoning behind it. It's not for defense of this country. The oil industry profits the money of the citizens paying right there at that pump inside this country. They stick it in their pocket. It doesn't go to the National Defense Network. That was the reserves. See, the Federal Reserve, National Oil Reserve, that's what that is. That's for the ships and the boats and the planes in case of a national emergency. It has nothing to do with production of the product. There's ships out there on that sea that have 1.5, 2.5 million barrels of oil in them each day. It means that they set the price, they control the price, they control the market, just like Walmart in your neighborhood. It's where you're going to buy your gas. It's where you're going to buy your tires. It's where you're going to buy your kids' toothpaste. It's going to be where you buy most of fucking what you fucking have that you can afford. Oh, they're the ones doing it to you. They're the ones. They're taking all your fucking money. And when they sucker you in the door with some cheap price, later on you're going to find out it was the biggest mistake of your life because they turned you into a Walmart alien, a Walmart junkie. You see, whenever you go in a Walmart and you say, I already know where the hamburger's at, I already know where the steaks are at, I know where the cheese is at, I know where everything's at inside the store. Sucker. That's only because they just took 3 or 4 grocery stores in your town history, probably cost 3 or 4 grocery stores to have to go out of business because they put a super center in. Now that all of these other grocery stores are gone, they're gone, they're history. There's still a few little survivors here and there, and they control the market. They control the mass outflow of the beef, the poultry, and the pork industry to the customers inside this country. And that's what the databases are for. It's to keep track of all you, your purpose, it's to keep track of you just as an individual. And it's spooky because it keeps track of your teenagers and your kids, your toddlers. Why? Because, oh, yeah, I see you have a toddler. Oh, we're going to say, we're going to put you in, we need baby bottles, baby diapers, baby formula, and then pediatric services, and you'll see all these little ads bouncing up. It's a fact. What it amounts to is this exploitation of citizens inside this country. It's real simple. And inside the first documents, the Constitution and the laws that was being written around it, that it restricted the size of industries and what controlling factors of the free people would be, which means that you can't own the fucking telephone company and the railroad tracks at the same time. You see, can't happen. You can run the phone cables along the train tracks, the cables, the telegraph, you know, but you can't own both of them. You see, because that was too much power. Now we've spun the table around backwards and issued over a majority of the power of decision. You have to understand that, which is treason on the government's behalf and leadership to weaponize. You got to understand this, weaponize the oil industry. How the American taxpayers, I've heard it 100 times, how the American taxpayers are having to take the brunt of the force at the pumps. Why? Tell me one reason. Anybody can come up. There's links in there. Anybody ever wants to come up or leave me a comment. The fact of the matter is you're being exploited. That's exploitation of government. You see, it means that whenever an industry is capitalizing, you see, and the citizens are the ones that's being held their feet at the fire. They have no purpose for the need of money. You have to understand that. If they need money, they can be just like anybody else, but they can't come in and say, "Hey, we're gonna we're gonna force you to pay this price." You see, and why I say it's treason, why I say it's against the Constitution for the gas petroleum industries to do this to the citizens of this country, is because it's called price gouging. You understand? Price gouging. That means that if I've got 15 loaves of bread on my shelves and I get down to them last 5 loaves and I say, well, by the way, that's my last 5 loaves. I think I'm going to have to get $50 a loaf for them. It's only 50 loaves of bread. But what I'm talking about is every single gas pump inside this country profits average $500 million a day. You see, a day. The industry, the same industry that pumps oil from down underneath the ground, under towns, under people's houses, subdivisions. Just because they drill a hole down in the ground, it doesn't mean that that oil reservoir can't span for miles around it. And the people of the community doesn't benefit anything from that, just like the government, federal property, oil well properties. The government keeps the royalties, the producers, and the people that's pumping it off those federal lands. They're keeping all the profits because you're going to buy it at the pump at the same price. It don't matter if it come from Texas or if it came from fucking Alaska. It doesn't matter. It's the same price. They make the price. But there's a lot of shit going on inside this fucking society in which we live. It really is. And if it wasn't for these daggone communicators we all seem to have, what would we know? I'm gonna give Mad Shad a shout out because he said it. He said he has over 1,500 subscribers. And he's been trying to say it for a long time. It's like nobody's listening. It's like they're fucking, I get it, digital fucking zombies, man. That's what they are. That's who they are. And and I know it don't make sense. Sometimes, you just gotta keep, if you keep talking about it, Eventually, maybe something will manifest out of it. But it's like I said, you got all these individuals inside this country, and they're looking for the right answers. Everybody on whatever they're on, they're all trying to look for the right answer, and the right answer is to say, hey, why don't you start holding these fucking public officials fucking accountable? Why don't you do that? I mean, I see you're willing to go out here and put your asses on the line and say, I'm going to strut my stuff. I got my rights, whatever right that is. Great. Where does it go? Nowhere. It leaves. It goes home after the weekend. I got to go back to school. I got to go back to work. I got things to do. I got my comfort zone. I can't lose my job. Well, where does all the people show up down here on the town square and say, hey, you know what? We're just here to say no. And we want to make ourselves known. We have the power as the people. We, the people, have the power to say no en masse. That means all of us can be included. That was the intent of America, for all of us to be included equally. I don't give a fuck if you're black, yellow, brown, white. I don't care. If you represent the American ideals and the foundations of the American spirit, and you want to go back and you want to know about our foundation of our history and what makes us what we are, welcome to America. Until that day, you know, take your shit and get the fuck out. I don't want your fucking flag flying on the flagpole with my American flag. I draw the fucking line. I don't want your fucking language to be ununderstandable. If you call yourself an American, you're living here, you're legal, you're supposed to be in this country, blah, 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 then why in the fuck can you tell me that you do not speak English? Why do you not know English? Because it's true. I get it. You want to live in a country called America. It was founded by people that spoke the English language and some that spoke Spanish. But see, Spain, they sold that shit out a long time ago, and so did France. And there's some of the communities in France in Canada. I know them. I know people, and some people down here in Louisiana that still stick with the French language. Good for you. But I guarantee fucking tell you, when they go in a fucking store up here in Baton Rouge or somewhere, and they go in there and they say, yeah, can I get $15 worth of gas on pump 3? They know how to speak the fucking language. And it's like, it's what we expect. It's our ideals. It's our fundamentals. How the fuck is you supposed to send your kids to school if a teacher's assistant and a teacher or somebody inside that school in America doesn't speak fluent English? How would that come out? I don't want to take my kids to another country to learn how to speak English. I want to just send my kids to an English school right here in the good old USA. That's what it is. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. 1 through 10. Leave me alone. Shut up. It's hard on us old timers to sit back and watch this fucking country decay. And you try to put all the words of wisdom out there that you can behind this young, energetic group of people inside this country and try to say, hey, let's lean on that flag. How about that? And and let's go back and let's leave the government out of it. It's like, see, we did that. We did that. You and all of us as relatives and stuff back in the past, we did that. We put the government aside. Get your ass out of here. We're not going to have this. We didn't even have a fucking president. You see? We didn't have a fucking president. And then somebody says, well, okay. I said, well, George Washington came along later, but we didn't have a fucking president then. He was the first man elected to the presidential office. But before he could be president, the rules had to be established of his powers. And they spent a lot of time writing that shit. And he was also the guest of honor to the first house in New York. It wasn't in Washington, D.C. It was in New York. And you meet these fucking people out here and they say, okay, I'm not going to have a fucking history lesson with you, bub. I'm just going to say the flag is what the flag is, you know, and, and if you don't like my fucking flag, I'm going to guarantee you, I will personally tell you to get the fuck out of my country because you don't like my flag. Because if you don't like my flag, you're not part of my country. This is what we represent. Our red, white, and blue, and that's what I'm going to stand on. You can take your fucking flag and fly it in your house. You can do whatever you want with your flag. It is not my flag of my country. It doesn't represent us as a people. It represents you as an individual and your personal prerogatives of your product. And we all know where that's went. Your fucking rainbow fucking flag bullshit. Here's some fucking clothes and everything. I don't even know how it's allowed for the fucking conglomerate of Target inside the United States to remain even without the fucking buildings being completely demolished and tore down. Because why? They have small little outfits at one time that you could have your transgender child buy from them in their transgender department at their Target store. See? And then somebody says, oh, it's your right to be able to go in there or not go in there. You got the right to say, no, you have the right to not be subjected to it. It means that if you've got a Target store in every fucking town inside this fucking country, that's a lot of fucking exposure. That's a lot of fucking power, especially like Walmart. Oh, we're going to go up to fucking, what is it? $9, $10 a pound for some good beef. We're just going to set the price on that. Go check what the meat costs when it leaves the packing house to get to the Walmart distribution center. What they actually paid for that meat. Go check it. You're getting fucked. And the same production fucking cost at those fucking fuel pumps out there is the same as it was fucking 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's the same. It's the same as it was fucking 20 years ago. It's the same procedure to make a fucking gallon of fucking gasoline for you to put in your fucking car to get your fucking miserable fucking lifestyle of living in a fucking boxed in, fucking government controlled fucking hypocrisy. Sorry, I've been there. But people just don't. They they know the truth, but they agree to disagree. I get it. I see people that's crying because they can't afford the fuel prices. But I see people that didn't argue not one bit when they went over there to the fucking dealership and just paid 90 something fucking $1,000 for a brand new fucking pickup truck. Really. Apparently the batteries and shit for that thing cost a hell of a lot more than what they're used to, right? And by the way, welcome to the fucking you just invested in a government issued vehicle. Thank you. It means it's got in 2027, the receipts are there. In 2027, all manufactured vehicles inside the United States will incorporate AI smart software into their control panels. They just will. They got cameras. They got all this shit already in them in 2027. 2028 is going to even get worse. You are a prisoner of your own consumption. The consumer's market, that's what causes you to be a prisoner. That's why if everybody says, hey, we're just going to agree to pay, like, and then, heck, does anybody check the price of eggs? Eggs went way down. I can still hear somebody saying that. Okay, what about beef? What about gas? What about home interest rate? What about all these other things? We're just dumbasses. We all live in holes and on our cell phone, YouTube, camera lifestyle, and we don't know anything because we're just a bunch of fucktards. They issued the last PhDs 2 years ago. That's what they say. Nobody's smart anymore. I had a guy ask me the other day about something, and I told him, I said, a musket is not considered a cartridge. It means it's a cap and ball mechanism. They come available in a variety of revolvers and rifles and revolver rifles. And it's legal. It doesn't matter. Your record has no reflection on it. It means you can have your 6 shooters. You just got to take your time. If you have to get in a gunfight, you have to have something to get behind or something. But anyhow, I ramble on, man. Yeah, I know. I'm just, I, I know, Pilgrim, if you're still out there, man, I know exactly what you're saying, man. You got to have permission slip from every fucking aspect of your fucking life. Even though, if you looked at me and you said, okay, I'm going to go in a store and I'm going to step up to the counter in English, I'm going to say, hey, could I have a pack of cigarettes? Well, we got to see your ID. Why don't you kiss my ass? What about that? How many times has anybody ever thought that in their head or just said it? Because I have. Kiss my ass. The policy, what do you know? Here's the thing. I want to scan your ID into my system, you see. I want to know that you just came into my store and you bought a package of something, and we're going to add that back to the inventory, and then we're going to check the frequencies of the fucking algorithms, and we're going to see how many times a week or whatever, how frequent you come into this place or any place and buy this product. And then that's going to go back to the fucking AI fucking central, and it's going to tell the little warehouse over there, hey, get some more of this. But we're having good sales on this, so let's mark the price up just a little bit on that. We need to make a little more money on that because our shareholders, see. And when the two top percent, the top percent control it, means you got the upper 10%. You take 100 people, put them in a building, take 10 of them away, you got 90 left. Those people, 90 people. 10 of them, they just left the building. The 10 people that just left that building have a combined wealth of more than the rest of the 90 people that remains inside the building. Thus, America, the country, estimated 350 million people, you see. Means 35 million people. $35 million people are in the upper 10% of the United States economy. People that hold the most shares in banking investment, mortgage and finance, the market, all of it. Stocks, bonds, name it. Federal Reserve, 35%. That 10% of 35 million people, you see, 35 million people, that's a lot of freaking people control that. But let's reduce that because it's not 35 million people. It's 35. It's more like about 38,000 people, somewhere in there. That'll be all your corporate leaders. That'll be all your Wall Street. Uh, that'll be all of them. You know, about 35, 40,000 people. And they tell the rest of the fucking 340 million other people inside this country what they're going to pay at that pump, and they're going to shut their mouth and like it. And if you don't like that, see, we already own houses and buildings and stuff, and our kids are never going to be without and forever. If you don't do what we say and you become homeless in our diamond city of glimmer and hope, if you don't want to be a good, productive citizen, you know. Anybody ever seen that movie? Where if you're not a productive citizen inside this little newfound order, then they send you off to the rehabilitation camp where you never come back from. And that happened over in Europe, you know, 1930s up until the 1940s. That happened, but in a more subtle way. No matter what journey you're going to take in life in this country down this emotional, financial roller coaster of existence, my heart goes out to you. You know, you only got so much fucking money in your fucking pocket after you earn your fucking wages. And then you have these big fucking giants, the real giants out here in the world, that are going to fucking do everything they do to take it away from you, even though you earned it, you see. That goes back to the fucking turn of the century when they still had fucking labor workhouses inside this country where you were forced to labor. Even if you had to labor to build stuff for other city constructions or projects or industries, you were forced to live inside those labor camps and inside those workhouse environments. It existed. And it wasn't way back so long ago. It existed. And the sanitariums at the same time excelled and built structures and housings of individuals because basically just because you're homeless and you're getting thrown in jail for being homeless and a vagrant twice, then they take you over here and throw you in a sanitarium. And they charge the taxpayers of the community for your upkeep, you see. But they only spend so much of that for your welfare, and then they spend the rest of it on their agendas, you know, the profits. So, yeah, I know, living in a damn country where eventually, somebody don't stand together, people don't come together, the act of doing nothing. You have to understand that. Nothing. It's not going to be a day of convenience. You know, they have these day of convenience. So we're going to have this May Day protest on May Day. May Day? No. That day is whatever day you choose it to be. And if the people around you respect you, they'll take that knee too. And they'll take it to that flag. That's the only way they're going to take that name. What they represent, what represents them. And whenever you say, okay, I'm not trying to make you go out of business, I'm not trying to make you suffer as an employer, I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm just trying to say that the power of we the people is the greatest force on earth. And until that point comes to where we just absolutely do nothing, you have to understand that. Nothing. Nobody shows up, you know. When nobody shows up, road crews don't come out there and work on the roads, and nobody comes out there and fucking, you know, nobody says, hey, I'm sorry that you didn't get your fucking delivery this morning. I'm sorry you even showed up. You see, just by doing nothing. It's as simple as that. There don't have to be no fights, no battles, no nothing at all. It's just from doing nothing. Do nothing. And the maximum allowed pressure inside that, according to the latest numbers and calculations, is 14 days. That's the fuse. The industry of government itself, you have to understand that, can be brought to its knees inside 14 days of doing nothing at all. Not driving your car, not buying no food, not anything. Just staying at home for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Bring them to their knees. To their knees. The industry. It means that their objective with this robot shit and all this other stuff is to eventually phase that out to where it doesn't matter if you decide you got some kind of protest or some kind of grievance against something. The officials is already making measurements to make sure that there's a little robot AI individual units sitting inside that building that's capable of putting something in a box, putting it in a box machine where it tapes it up, sends it down a conveyor belt, puts it in the back of an autonomous truck, and delivers it on time any fucking way. See, that reminds me of what they call a prison tier, where they got all the prisons cells, jail cells on tiers, 2 tiers, 3 tiers, and you're just in a tier. And there's a cart that comes down through there every day and it says, here's your tray, here's your food, here's your water. You're not allowed to leave this space. This is where you're at. In modern society, and then when they talk about the Georgia Guidestones and how humanity was going to be brought back to 500 million people on the worldwide. It's a possibility through a plague or an outbreak of something. But you got to understand, robots don't get affected by viruses. Viruses that can take a human life and end it. It's a machine. They were designed to go inside hazardous conditions, places like nuclear meltdowns and cleanups and shit. These droids. When all of the fucking blue collar fucking industry and the people that actually put the physical work into it become outdated, it means that what do you got left out of your life? What do you got if it comes in the next 5 years and all of a sudden they got people down here. Oh yeah, they got an AI unit, 3 of them standing out there on the corner. They all got guns and weapons of some kind, all the way from, non-lethal to lethal on them, you see. And they're being controlled by their own decision based on their own rules of software and algorithms. And all of a sudden, how are you going to feel? Are you going to say, well, okay, this motherfucker here, it says it's fucking 10 times faster. with its weapon than a human being is. How can you defend yourself against that? How is that possible? The fact of the matter is whenever we have these units standing on our corners, in our towns and in our neighborhoods, you see, they can be non-lethal force androids. You have to understand that. It means that we will have autonomous vehicles delivering your food to your front steps of your house. And your house is going to determine where you are based on your status and your credit standings in society. How much you was willing to kiss that ass to have whatever it is you paid astronomical prices for inside our free country. I'm sorry. I can build a 1,400 square foot house. Get this. Okay, it's worth a certain amount of money. I can build two 1,400 square foot houses on the same lot and call it 2,800 square feet. Okay, but I can go from 300,000 to 600,000, 700,000 for one house. You see, it's all the same house, just one's bigger than the other. But the cost in which you willing to pay for that house. I know people that's got houses that got rooms inside of them that they don't even use, man. 2 bedrooms that they don't use. They don't park their cars inside their garage. Somebody cuts their grass. They barely get out of their recliner to get to their vehicle to go to work and get back and sit back in front of their fucking screen. They contribute nothing but their job when they go to and they sit on their job and they do nothing. They have all the delivery services. The Walmart brings their groceries to their house. And then you got these people that feel like they're doing the better and they just go, okay, well, I'm going to order it and I'm going to show up and they can bring it out and put it in the car for me. Okay. I'm going to physically contribute to this fucking giant, hear me, this fucking ripping you off. Walmart, man, back in the day, Walmart was a fucking joke. People, even poor people say, man, I guess I'm going to go over and get one of these fucking cheap motherfuckers from Walmart because they sold cheap shit, you know. Now they don't sell, they still sell cheap shit, but they sell it to you at way times more than what it should cost reasonably. But they set the market on whatever it costs to get it off a boat, get it on a dock, get it out of a container, get it to the store with their little robot system, put it on the fucking plate, and serve it right up to you, the American dumbass. Whenever the people inside this country say no, you gotta understand it firmly. No, no, no means no. I'll be there. I'll be there. If anybody that I've ever talked to online, anybody's out there, ever says, hey, I'm down for this. I'm down. I'm down. Look, I will go fuel my fucking vehicle up. I'll pack me a fucking suitcase. I'll be there. See what I mean? I'm there. I'm already there. Nothing is nothing. Means don't leave your driveway. Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble and I'm gonna lose my job. I guess if nobody, it's your fucking whole company just showed up. Nobody showed up for 2 fucking weeks. Is everybody at the company gonna get fired? Who knows? Who knows? And it's like that old Teamsters guy, Mr. Hoffa, when they was trying to cross picket lines and people were getting the shit beat out of them because you can't control it. It's already been proven. If you say, hey, I'm going to go up here and protest this fucking food distribution company, okay, good luck with that. The people that work inside that food distribution center can say, well, I guess I ain't coming to work today. You know, what about the order takers? What about all these people? What about the people that actually physically have to handle this fucking product and take it out of that vehicle and put it on a fucking step? Because eventually that person's no longer going to exist, and they better understand that. And then you got this fucking Amazon Prime advertising all over fucking internet with their commercials. We hire our drivers and our delivery personnel this much money, and we give them automatic insurance coverage on their first day. Okay, you know what's going to happen to you eventually? That little robot's going to pull up in that truck. It's going to come out the truck with a box on its back. It's going to bring it up your steps, put it on your front door. It's going to ring your ring. It's going to use its Bluetooth connection to your camera on the front of your house. And your food is here. Your order's here. You say, and when that's all there in place and nobody can actually walk in, and I notice, look at these fucking plate glass bulletproof windows that they have inside these grocery stores and in these fucking convenience markets and in these fast food markets. Why? Why do they have fucking bulletproof Lexan around their whole fucking counter? Who's doing that? What's causing that? The same fucking thing that wants control over you, my friend. The same one that says, hey, report to work. It's your report to work time. And that may sting a little bit. Report to work. Report to work. You're tardy. It's like Mad Shad was saying in his video. Goddamn truck tells you, it's a tattletale, that AI shit. Oh, you stopped and got out and went in the store and bought a soda because you're thirsty. After you worked fucking 2 fucking hours hard as you worked your ass off. See, it's unpermissible. You didn't have the permission. You gotta have permission. It's like Pilgrim said, you gotta have your permission. You gotta have fucking permission. Permission to do every fucking thing, sir, ma'am. May I have some fucking groceries today? May I have some gas today? What time do I report? You know, because that's what it is. And whenever you people fucking underestimate that, they're gonna say, okay, don't be sleepy on this subject. It means that anybody is at risk. Anybody. I don't care if you say, well, I'll make $80,000 a year. Hold on a minute. If I went over there and said, hey, you don't even got a fucking job no more. You're not going to get an insurance benefit for your kids or anything else. And by the way, you ain't got no fucking more money in your digital fucking bank account, bubby. Then what do? You better hope and pray you got enough motherfucking groceries inside your pantry to last you until that motherfucking finance company comes up there and says, where's my fucking money? And then you wind up living in the back of a goddamn fucking Chrysler fucking minivan in the back of Walmart parking lot. Some of the same people that actually put you in that position. See? The master. I don't have no master. Nobody inside this country should have a master. It shouldn't exist. Outside of certain things. I mean, that's consensual. But the thing about it is it's like, uh, there ain't no masters inside the United States. The government's this is a fucking agency that we use for fucking upkeep of the fucking streets and the public spaces inside our country. It's not something that controls us. We control it. And until that fucking day and somebody steps up and says, hey, by the way, we do control that. We don't control somebody saying, hey, we're going to jack up fucking oil because we want to make a lot of fucking money. See, like, go back and watch the video. He's right there with all of everybody that is everybody in the oil business right at that table. We're going to make a lot of money. Who is we? See, they left that little small detail out. Who is we? We who? Are y'all part of those people? Them people? Remember those people? The spook, the fucking Kabuki theater. So, in a sense, I don't want to be redundant and saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. The fact of the matter is there's some simple fucking documents. We got to go all the way back to the beginning. Like, when you take a course in something, sometimes it requires that you go all the way back to the beginning of the course and start to try to do things over. So when you get to the point again where you think you're going to be, you'll know what the mistakes has been made. Point one, that's First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. See, that's all of those little things, all in a line right there. Number one, stick with number one. If if Plan 2 fails, go back to Plan A. See, Plan 1, First Amendment. Oh, we're going to show up out here and we're going to show our asses. We're going to tear shit up. We're going to fight people. We're going to get in arguments. And that's just because we're doing it because it makes us feel important and we want to be seen by the world. Look at us. No, because you're idiots. First Amendment. What are you protesting? What's your protest? What's your fucking grievance? What is your freedom of speech and how does it reflect to fucking being ran over or manipulated? Why? Because you got to say the first to be able to even get to what the issues are after that. If the first issue doesn't cover all the rest of them, I don't know where the fuck planet you're from. You must have, like one of these Governor Kennedy said, you must have parachuted in from the fucking moon. If you think you're going to get away with fucking fourth and fifth and everything else, and you're going to leave out one because that was completely instructional. It's your God given right inside this country to express yourself and your feelings and how you feel like something could be fucking wrongfully fucked up. And then you got people that want to cling to second. Okay, go to your second, but don't skip one to go to two. That's not how you're going to do that. It shouldn't be impeded. That's right. And neither should the First Amendment. And that's where we're all out here on this fucking interwebs and we're all nervous about, oh, you can't say this, oh, you can't say that, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. Who says? You? In your own personal experience, probably some of the things that you said and experienced, you might want to try to avoid that. But the First Amendment doesn't lead up to a threat. It leads up to a grievance. And when I say 14 days inside this country of the citizens absolutely doing fucking nothing, it gets everybody's attention. It just does. You can't shoot me and make me go to work, can you? You can't make me do this. You're not my master. I'm employed, but that doesn't make you my master. You see, that plantation master, get your ass up out the boy, pick that cotton boy, all that old bullshit. See, that's what that goes down to. No, you can't go to goddamn fucking anything. Most people can't even get out of their own fucking way besides go to fucking work. Why? Because they got to. Why? Because Walmart wants their money so they can what? Have something in their fucking mouth to eat. Don't let nothing happen to do that. I can't let nothing happen to that. Now I can't jeopardize. No. See you here, 100 excuses. 2 weeks plainly. 2 weeks. You don't have to go out and be rude to people. You don't have to go out at all. You just don't. You don't have to do that. There's people that's unprepared. They're ill prepared for that. They don't have soda in their refrigerator to last them for 2 weeks. They don't have enough fucking chicken in their freezer. They don't have enough fucking big store main boxes in their fucking pantry to go to. They don't. How you gonna win that fucking? Hey, you're not gonna win that argument. We all have to come to an agreement. We all have to say, and that's my point. And then I'm gonna be done with this video. My point was, if you are unwilling to stand by your neighbors and your own fucking countrymen in a movement, you see, a real movement, not we're gonna storm this, we're gonna protest this down on fucking DC. We're gonna get in this city and we're gonna protest and we're gonna say what we want to say. No, why don't you just try staying your ass at home? If you got 3 loaves of fucking bread and your neighbor says, "Hey, can I borrow a couple pieces of bread?" You say, "Sure, here you go, man. This is all I got, so we got to kind of stretch it. We got 2 weeks to get through this. Potatoes, eggs, whatever's around. 2 weeks, you see." But that ain't gonna happen no time soon. So until the next episode of the product and sales division of Zombie Force, LLC ICC Incorporations of Swampland Enterprise. I'm going to say "C'est la vie" from the swampy coast of Gulf America. Later, everybody.